Imagine a ship so strong it was nicknamed the Little Red Titanic. It wasn't just a vessel, it was a steel tank designed to crush through the most brutal ice on the planet. For decades, it was the king of the Antarctic, carrying dreamers to the edge of the world. But on a pitch-black night in 2007, 154 souls realized that even the strongest steel is no match for the silent killers hiding beneath the frozen waves. As the lights flickered and the ship began to tilt into the freezing abyss, they weren't just fighting for their lives. They were living through a ghost story they thought was buried a century ago.
Hello and welcome. If you're new here, welcome to Amazing 5.
Our journey begins long before that fateful night, in the mid-1960s. Back then, Antarctica was a place of myth and frozen silence, reserved only for hardened scientists and explorers. But a visionary Swedish-American businessman named Lars-Eric Lindblad had a different dream. He wanted to show the world the raw beauty of the white continent. To do this, he needed a special kind of ship. In 1969, the MV Explorer was born. Painted a bright, defiant red to stand out against the endless white of the ice, she was the first cruise ship ever built specifically for Antarctic waters. She didn't just sail, she attacked the ice. With a reinforced double hull, a design meant to provide a second layer of protection if the first was punctured, she was considered nearly invincible. For nearly 40 years, the little red ship became a legend, safely completing hundreds of journeys where other ships feared to tread. On November 11, 2007, the Explorer set off on what should have been another routine 19-day expedition. On board were 100 passengers and 54 crew members, all eager to see the penguins and towering glaciers. By November 22, they were deep in the Bransfield Strait. The air was a bone-chilling -20 degrees Celsius. Inside, the atmosphere was warm and celebratory. Passengers were tucked into their cabins, dreaming of the next day's adventure. But on the bridge, Captain Bengt Wimmen was navigating through a field of old ice, heavy, dense blocks that have survived several seasons and are as hard as concrete. At approximately 10 p.m., a sound like a thunderclap echoed through the hull. The ship shuddered violently. To the passengers, it felt like a large speed bump. To the captain, it was something far worse. He knew the ship could handle ice, but this was different. Somewhere beneath the waterline, a jagged underwater spur of an iceberg had sliced through the steel like a hot knife through butter. Initially, there was a sense of calm. The Explorer was built for this, right? The double hull would save them. But as the crew rushed to the engine room, they saw a terrifying sight. The water wasn't just leaking, it was exploding into the ship. The iceberg hadn't just punctured the outer shell, it had hit with such force that it compromised the inner hull as well. The invincible ship was bleeding. By midnight, the situation turned from a crisis into a nightmare. The water reached the main electrical systems. In an instant, the ship plunged into total darkness. The heaters died. The hum of the engine stopped. The only sound left was the roar of the freezing sea rushing into the belly of the ship. Captain Wimmen made the heartbreaking call, abandon ship. Imagine the scene. Families in pajamas, shivering in the sub-zero wind, climbing into small yellow lifeboats in the middle of the dark Antarctic night. Below them was a mile of black water. Around them were shifting icebergs. As they pushed away from the Explorer, they watched the red ship tilt slowly to its side. It was a cinematic moment of horror that felt eerily like the 1912 sinking of the Titanic. For 5 agonizing hours, 154 people drifted in the lifeboats. The cold was a physical weight, pressing against their chests. They knew that if help didn't arrive soon, the cold would kill them long before the ocean did. They huddled together, watching the Explorer's lights disappear as the sea claimed her. Fortunately, unlike the Titanic, the Explorer's distress signals had been heard. A Norwegian ship, the Nord-Norge, was nearby. When its massive lights cut through the darkness, and the passengers saw the towering hull approaching, the relief was overwhelming. Every single person, all 154, was rescued without a single life lost. The MV Explorer took 20 hours to sink. She didn't go down quickly. She fought until the very end, finally disappearing beneath the waves at 7 p.m. the following day. Today, the little red ship lies on the seabed of the Bransfield Strait, 3,700 feet down. She is a silent monument in a frozen graveyard, resting in the same icy darkness she spent her life conquering. Her story is a powerful reminder of human ingenuity and the bravery of her crew, but it is also a humbling lesson from the Earth. It reminds us that no matter how much we reinforce our hulls or how experienced our captains are, the ocean is a vast, untamed power that can turn the strongest giants into ghosts in the blink of an eye.